right. Oh, I didn't see that it had a preview upcoming. I didn't know that it did that. Well, that's good to know that it does that. I hope it's live now. Hello, internet, are you there? Hello? Anyone? Is this working? No? Yes? Hi? In between the lanes is in the comments. I'm not seeing anything popping up, so that's not good. Oh, there we go. Okay, cool. Hello. Daniel Berry Sports Highlights. Hi. Oof. Had a scare there. I didn't think anything was going to load. I've had that happen before where I get a live stream ready, try to get it to go, and then it doesn't go, and it's not a fun time. So I was a little scared there. I need to update the bottom right corner logo, though. It's not up to date. But hello to the 4 of you watching. Hope you're doing well. Bristol was quite the weekend. I missed the trucks race, but the cup race was obviously quite exciting. There was a lot going on. I know some people didn't like it, but I enjoyed it quite a bit. So I hope you did too. But once again, I understand there might be some people who didn't like it, but I enjoyed it. So I had a good time yesterday. It was just a good race. There was a lot going on, and it wasn't like a crash fest version of there's a lot going on. It wasn't people getting put in the wall. I mean, people were going in the wall, but it's because they weren't managing their tires right. So, yeah, there was just so many different aspects to yesterday's race that it was a lot to keep up with. Kyle Busch almost won the trucks race. I saw he finished second. I saw Eckes won. That's good for Eckes. He's been running good this year. He had a really good truck at Atlanta, had some mechanical issues. He was good at Vegas, too. I think he ran top 5 or top 10, maybe even led some laps. But for the most part, he's been solid this year, just hasn't really gotten close enough to winning. He's been close, but he hasn't gotten to winning. But ultimately this weekend was the weekend that he picked up his first win of the season. Eckes, former driver of Kyle Busch Motorsports. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, I mean, there's quite a few out there. I think, Jack Wood, is he still racing? Was Nick Sanchez Kyle Busch Motor? No, he wasn't. But, yeah, the trucks, I missed it. My bad. I was at a family dinner, so sorry about that. Figured I could miss the trucks race, not get a lot of questions about it, or not, I don't know, but I missed it, so sorry. Oof. Man, trying to think. I'm trying to think because we talked about yesterday in the cup race, we talked about the tire wear, obviously. That was the main topic. We probably talked about that. I think it was a 15-minute video. Probably at least 8 or 9 of those minutes were about the tire wear and the tire chaos. I mean, okay, so here's the thing. There were pictures, reporters, teams, whoever was going up on the banking yesterday after the race, picking it up and, showing people and stuff. And I swear, like, usually you see the marbles on the racetrack from the worn tires and, it slowly grows as time goes on. Under caution, they pick it up, put it somewhere else, not literally pick it up, but, the tires do. But it was so weird because you saw people picking it up and it looked like, like a corn. It's in the when you shuck corn, when you peel off the corn, it looked like that versus the marbles, like it looks like marbles. That's what, Whereas this looked like the stuff you shred off of corn. I don't know what the proper term is. So it was like big chunks of hair, fiber looking stuff versus the normal kind of pebbles, marbles looking things, which is just so freaky. Just the way these tires were wearing, the way they were cording was just genuinely crazy to see. Just all the pictures post-race, all the videos, everything about the tires this weekend was crazy. I mean, we've talked about tires during races before with Texas, 2022. We've talked about high tire wear at like Richmond and stuff, but I mean, never to this level where they're not exploding. So it was crazy, man. It was just genuinely crazy. Hello, David. Hope you're having a good evening, afternoon, whatever we consider 5 o'clock. Any schemes you like at the last Great Coliseum? I was thinking about this earlier. I pre-thought about this. I really like Chastain and Suarez with their Busch. Chastain had the Busch kind of hunting, duck, whatever that was. And then Suarez kind of the same thing with Jockey. Both those cars looked good. The 8, when the white is the top part of the paint scheme and then the color like a blue or purple or yellow, whatever it may be, is the bottom part, it always looks weird to me. It's like when a football team wears a white jersey and blue pants. I don't know why. It just looks weird to me. Like a white helmet, white jersey, blue pants. To me, it just looks weird. So I couldn't really decide how I felt on the 8. But the 11 looked like a baseball. We talked about that yesterday. Not the whole paint scheme, just that bottom part where it was white and then you had the red kind of tire mark over it. It looked like a baseball on that specific part. I liked, let's see. I like Josh Berry's Sunny D. I mean, I'm going to say that every race that he runs that paint scheme. Was it I'm trying to think. Who was it? Oh, man. I had a paint scheme in mind because I knew this question was going to come from in between the lanes. But I can't remember which one it was. I'm struggling here. Was it the 19 wasn't terrible. The Auto Owners has been better. Maybe it was the 23, the Lidos. That paint scheme's always looked good to me. I've always liked purple and the dark purple with the random colors and stuff. I've always thought was a fine looking paint scheme. The Liberty scheme hasn't changed on the 24. The 16, that's what it was. The 16, AJ Allmendinger's car, the Mountain Dew and Cheetos combo. That was a good-looking race car. That's the one I was thinking of. That was a good-looking paint scheme. That was the one. Really good-looking race car. Black with the Cheetos and the Mountain Dew, so it made the green and the orange pop. I'm sure if you had those at the same time, that would probably rip your stomach up. But you know what? It's a fun-looking race car. This is the first time in NASCAR history that a team in back-to-back weeks had that all 4 drivers led a lap in a race. Phoenix last week, Bristol this week. I did not know that. But yeah, I mean, all drivers led like 25 plus in both weeks. This week, Gibbs led like 150. Hamlin led 160 or so. Bell led about 30 and Truex led about 50. So, I mean, all of them led a ton. And then last week, Truex led 50 or so. Bell led 50 or so. Gibbs led 50 or so. Hamlin led 60 or 70. So, back-to-back weeks of all of them leading 30 plus or whatever number I said, 25, 30 plus. So, yeah, I mean, Toyota's looking really good right now, especially on the short tracks, which in the next-gen era has been their struggle. So, obviously, they made that a point of emphasis just because that's where the championship race is, and it's paid off for them. And they did not have to sacrifice at the 1.5 miles. We saw how good Reddick was at Vegas. We saw how good Truex, Ty Gibbs, even Bubba before his mechanical issues and after when they got everything fixed. We saw how fast those cars were. So Toyota did not give up a lot on the 1.5 miles. They have jumped out to a quick start. I think Chevy still has more wins than them, but Toyota has been consistently in contention for the win. Where Chevy and Ford, there's been, Chevy was nowhere to be seen at Phoenix. Ford really, yesterday was nowhere to be seen outside of Barry at times. I know Blaney was up there, but Barry was really the top Ford for a good chunk of this thing. And Keselowski, I guess Brad was up there for a bit, but every time he got up, into third, fourth, he was 5-6 seconds back of the leaders, so I mean, he was in contention, but he needs some help. Chase Elliott did good yesterday. Yeah, he's been top 20ing us to death. Like 18th at Daytona or whatever. Top 20 at Atlanta, top 20 at Vegas, and then top 20 at Phoenix. And finally, he gets a top 10 at Bristol yesterday. Bristol's been good for him historically. He doesn't have a win there for the points race. He won the All-Star race the year that it was there. But Bristol's been a good track for him. He just hasn't quite figured out how to get the win there. So I expected him to do good. I expected him to run top 10, especially after that qualifying lap. But the tire mayhem just really kind of messed with everyone yesterday. You know, I think if that was a more normal Bristol race, I think he could have been in the top 5, but ultimately that's not how it happened. So he finishes 8th. And we go to a track next week that he has won at before at COTA. So we'll talk about COTA a little bit later on. Let me get through some of this. We talked about that. 54 car looked great this week. This new body of Camry really made all the Toyota paint schemes look good. If you talk about the paint scheme, yeah, the 54 didn't look bad. But in terms of speed, the 54s looked good all year. They had top 5 speed at Vegas. They had top 5 speed at Phoenix. They had top 5 speed yesterday. I mean, the 54 is on quite a streak here. Leading laps, being up front, contending for the win. It's only a matter of time before Ty Gibbs gets that first win. Looking down the schedule, you know, you look at Richmond in a couple weeks. I know Ty Gibbs has won at road courses in Xfinity and all, but for COTA, I just think, you know, Reddick, Elliott, Larson, SVG, Allmendinger, those are going to be your guys. That you could probably list 6 or 7 that will more than likely be your winner. And I don't want to put Ty Gibbs in that category yet. So I think his first win comes at an oval. I think it could very well come, you know, right after COTA at Richmond, Martinsville, maybe a little bit further down the line. But, you know, I think Kansas, you got to circle Kansas as a big opportunity because Toyota is always really good there. Ty Gibbs has run good there. He was running top 5 last fall, and I think he had a late race wreck or tire went down. Something went wrong late in that race, so it's only a matter of time before he gets that first win. Breaking news after the spring race, I was officially dethroned in our fantasy league. Oh, let's go. The fantasy league, I have been so excited to talk about this. As I do every week, I have to share the league link and then pin it in the chat because you can do that. I did not know that was a thing until about 2-3 weeks ago when you guys told me I could do that. So thank you for telling me I could do that because otherwise I'd be posting this link a lot and we'd lose a lot of time on this live stream. But let's see here. Let's get it in. I feel like every week we gain a member whenever we do this. So hopefully we can grow from 16 to 17. Click and pin message. And it works. It still works. Let's go. But yeah, so fantasy league. That's right. That's where we were going. There's a new leader in our fantasy league. It is Big Hat LJ with 968 points. Zerkman 95, who had been leading the past few weeks, falls to second place at 930. Dan the Jets fan up to third at 912 points. It Factor, IT Factor, I still don't know if it's it or IT, whatever it may be. It Factor Autosport Incorporated at 890. PC underscore 18 in fifth. I've moved up to sixth. Finally. Actually not sucking. Seventh, Pins underscore 22. Eighth, Otter Bear 8. 9th, Dr. Zero. 10th, Hell on Wheels 24. 11th is RT Racing. 12th is 45 and 2311 fan. 13th is Matt Smith 53. 14th is Stevie G. 15th is Shane Van Hamburger Buns. And 16th is Micah MLB 15. That is your full league standings after 5 weeks, maybe 4 or 5, however many weeks of races we've had. I'm going to do some quick math here. Daytona, Atlanta, Vegas, Phoenix, Bristol, 5 weeks. See, sometimes I got to count on my fingers. But yeah, my lineup this week was pretty good. I put Logano on my roster just because I figured he's bound to run good one of these weeks. that backfired. But everything else I did great. You know, Larson finished in the top 5. Hamlin won the race. Christopher Bell finished in the top 10. Ty Gibbs swept the stages and finished in the top 10. So I should have moved Truex in for Logano out of my garage, but I always forget to change my lineup mid-race, and it costs me. So, yeah, but that's your fantasy update this week. Speaking of fantasy, I need to talk about tomorrow's video. Give me like 5 seconds to go get it. 3, 4, and 5. Tomorrow's video is a non-racing video. It's the one video I dedicate every year to doing that is a non-racing video. It, of course, is the March Madness bracket. I already have it printed out. I have not filled it out yet because I wanted to show you a bracket, a paper bracket, but I have not filled it out yet. I'll fill it out tomorrow on video, edit it, post it sometime tomorrow. I don't know what time. It'll just pop up. It'll appear out of nowhere. Prepare yourselves. This is March. This bracket will more than likely be shredded. I only have one bracket in my history of making brackets that I did not shred. It was 2 years ago when I picked Kansas to win it all, and they came through and won it all. But yeah, looking at it earlier, I'm excited. I'm going to go aggressive this year. I'm going to go bold. Usually I go pretty, analytical, like, oh, this team's really good. Oh, they were in this conference. Oh, they beat this team. This year I'm going on gut feelings because I can never seem to get it right. I've gotten it right once in 23 years, so we're going to go for twice in 24. It'll go terribly wrong, but we're going to have fun doing it. And of course, I will make a bracket league thingy so you guys can all join, have fun with me, and we can all fail miserably together on our brackets, but some will fail less miserably than others. Back to the comments here. We talked about fantasy, which I'm glad we did. I feel like Byron win at Daytona is so forgotten I don't see or hear anyone say he won the 500 anymore. I see it on commercials all the time. I mean, they had the race rewind for COTA on Bally Sports today, and I watched that because I just straight up don't remember half of the race last year. And every promotion, every ad was like, oh, William Byron Daytona 500 win was mentioned, like in the Fox advertisement. So maybe it's just you, maybe it's just me on the other end of it that I remember it, but I don't know. Kyle Busch and Big Hat Byron didn't help me. Yeah, Byron, if you had Byron on your fantasy team this week, you had a lot of opportunities to put him in the garage. I would have forgotten if I had Byron in my lineup because, as I said, I'm terrible at doing the subbing stuff in race with the lineup. But Byron wrecked on like lap 20, so you had quite a bit of time before lap 250 to get him in your, or to get him out of your lineup. For, you could have put literally anyone but Zane Smith, and you would have done a better job than Byron. So, but then again, at this point of the season, Zane Smith has had a horrific rookie season. If he's in your lineup, then that's your own fault. No offense if you actually did, or if you're a Zane Smith fan. I'm sorry, guys, but it's been a rough year for him. Gibbs probably on track to have the best sophomore season since maybe Hamlin or Johnson. I'm trying to think. Jimmy Johnson was a rookie in 02, so 03. I wasn't a fan back then. I'm not sure what he did in 03. Hamlin was a rookie in 05, 06, 05, I want to say. And then 06, I think he was competing for the championship. So, yeah. I mean, in this format, if you can win 3-4 races, you're a contender because that's how it's set up. If you can run well at a certain style of track, then you can run well. So, yeah, Ty Gibbs has a shot at this thing. Ultimately, he's third in points right now, so even if this was the Winston format, he'd have a shot at this thing. He's been top 5, top 10 in his way through the season. Every non-super speedway, I think he has a top 5 or a top 10, so he's been killing it this year. Phoenix, Bristol, and Vegas are 3 completely different tracks, so for him to be running leading laps at all those tracks or to be up front at all those tracks, that's it's quite impressive, and it's quite the good sign for the rest of the year. Still a podium position for me in terms of the fantasy league, I'm assuming. Aggressive goes around. That I was at that race, so I did not hear the call live, but I have heard or seen the numerous memes that have happened since. This chunk of ice will not break. It's extremely annoying. Keeps on smacking me in the lip. Are you surprised to see Toyota with the new body beating out the Fords and beat Chevy week in and week out and maintain pace, or is it expected for Toyota to perform good? I mean, yeah, it's expected for Toyota to perform good. When you have Joe Gibbs Racing, even 2311 has been, they've been, ever since the next gen era, they've been contenders for playoff spots and wins every once in a while. But, I mean, to say they're beating Ford week in and out every week, whatever you said, week in, week out, I'll give you Ford, but Chevy, I mean, Chevy at the super speedways looked really good. Chevy at Vegas, obviously, with Larson looked really good. As I said, Truex, Reddick, Gibbs looked really good at Vegas too. But Larson seemed to be the class of the field. Even Byron, before his trash bag incident, was really fast. So I'm not quite confident enough to say Toyota's better everywhere, but right now at the short tracks at least, Toyota looks like the team to beat. So not really surprised. They were going to figure it out eventually, even if they missed early on, even if they sucked or were meh this first quarter of the season, they were going to figure it out eventually. But I think it's just if you were going to say surprising, I think it'd be surprising that they hit it this quickly, if you get what I mean. But as for Ford, Ford, they've been struggling a little bit. They haven't completely sucked. Like last year, there were times that Ford was just straight up bad. But, Blaney was top 5 at Vegas. Brad Keselowski, Chris Buescher have been good at the short tracks at Phoenix and Bristol. So they're still light for Ford. They're going to win races this year, but it does seem like they are behind Toyota for sure, and then still behind Chevy. So they still have some work to do. I know they were 3/1000ths of a second away from winning at Atlanta, but they still got a little bit of work to do. Who is King Bristol most? Who is King Bristol? Who is win? I don't understand the question, but if you're asking who the King of Bristol is, I'm going to go Kyle Busch because he's won there 10 billion times. He's won there like 8 times in Cup, 5 or 6 times in Xfinity, 5 or 6 times in trucks. So 5 plus 5 plus 8 equals 10 billion or whatever number I said earlier. Some math for you. It's going to be interesting to see how Martinsville will play out, or the Wilkesboro, for the All-Star race. And Hamlin was a rookie in 2006 and still the highest points-paying rookie in history, finishing 3rd. Well, I did not know that, so thank you for that information. But, yeah, it depends. Right now, it depends on the tire. How much is the tire going to wear at Martinsville and North Wilkesboro? We saw the tires got eaten alive at North Wilkesboro last year, but that's because it was a 40-year-old surface. Now that they got a new surface, it's going to be different. It's going to be different this year. The race might be bad. Sorry. But as for Martinsville, it depends on the tire. Don't know what else to tell you there. Martinsville, the next gen era, has not been the prettiest thing. It's had a couple of decent races. The 2022 fall race was better than the spring, but that wasn't hard, because the 2022 spring was one of the worst Martinsville races I've ever seen. So it depends on the tire, I would say. Toyota, let's go places. Harvick, be on TikTok too much. Let him cook, or he has that dog in him. Harvick is too old to be saying stuff like this. I don't have the TikTok, so I don't know what he's watching on TikTok. I mean, people say that on all forms of social media, I feel like, at least what I see. But I don't know. It's the United States of America. He can say what he wants, I guess. It's when it's forced that it gets a little bit annoying, but when he just randomly says it, it kind of throws me off. I'm like, What did he just say that Ryan Blaney had that dog? And I'm like, it's so random. It's when it's out of nowhere, it kind of surprises you and you have to think about it for a second, like, huh? What's up with that? So have you listened to Kevin Harvick's Happy Hour podcast? No, I listened to the episode when he interviewed SVG just because I have a lot of followers on here as of recent that care about SVG quite a bit. So I try to keep up with him a little bit more than some other drivers just because I know there's a big following for him. So no, other than that, no. Just no. It's not that I dislike Harvick or anything. It's just I don't. Darrell Waltrip is back. I don't know what that means. That's vague. I got to see if that means that he's back in the booth or if that means like he's not seeing anything, so I'll wait till later. I can close out of that tab now. Let's see here. Did anyone notice this? But Harvick mixed up Chase Elliott and yeah, I did see that. No, he said Chase Elliott twice. He said from Dawsonville, Georgia, Chase Elliott, and starting next to him from Mitchell, Indiana, is Chase Elliott. And I was like, hold on, what? Chase Elliott and Chase Elliott? I was like, oh, well, Chase Elliott just went from a 1 in 36 chance of winning to a 1 in 18 chance of winning. I'd say I like those odds. And, of course, the odds did not work out for Chase Elliott or Chase Elliott. But, yes, I did. I thought that was quite funny. What's up, Jeff? Hope you're doing well. 5 different tracks, 5 different winners. Are we on track to get new winners this year? Yeah, I mean, I feel like Next Gen Era, except for, well, that's a lie, no, because Byron won like Vegas and Phoenix. So, no, it has not been Next Gen Era, but we've seen a lot in recent years, the last 5 or so years, with the exception of last year. It takes 9 or 10 races for a repeat winner. 2022, Cindric won the 500. I forget who won Auto Club. Larson won Auto Club. Bowman won Phoenix. Not Phoenix, Vegas. Briscoe won Phoenix. That's the West Coast Swing. Was Atlanta after that? I don't even remember. Yeah, Atlanta was after that. Atlanta, Byron, that's 5 right there. After Atlanta in 2022, this is testing my memory right here. Did they go to Martinsville? No, they did not go to Martinsville. Texas, maybe? Okay, we're officially to Googling point. I think it's impressive that I was able to remember 5 races from 2022. Well, at least in a row. NASCAR schedule. I accidentally hit 3 instead of E, but it actually works out quite well for NASCAR. Or for the word schedule. All right, so 2022 NASCAR Cup Series schedule. Oh, look at that. I got the first 5 races right. Okay, good job, me. Then Chastain, then Hamlin won at Richmond, and then Byron was the first repeat winner in race 8 at Martinsville. Then Kyle Busch won at Bristol Dirt. Chastain was the second repeat winner at Talladega. So it took 8 races in 2022 for a repeat. I think it's possible because, honestly, I think there's a good chance that there is a new winner at COTA this week. I guess this is a great time to transition from Bristol to COTA. That was a terrible transition. I should have done from Bristol to COTA. So yes, we've wrapped up Bristol. We've talked about the tire wear, the insane tire wear. We've talked about the paint schemes in between the lanes. Always keeping me honest, trying to think of the best paint schemes from each week. We talked about the fantasy standings. We talked about, that was pretty much it. We talked about the majority of it. A couple guys, we picked a couple random guys to talk about. We talked about Byron, Zane Smith, their bad luck, their terrible races. We talked about Chase Elliott. We talked about Truex a bit, I think. But now we are on to talking about COTA. So yes, 2022, it took 8 races for us to see our first repeat winner. I think if anyone's going to be a repeat winner here at COTA, Look at our winners this year so far. We've gotten the Daytona 500, William Byron. At Atlanta, Daniel Suarez. At Vegas, Larson. At Phoenix was Bell, and at Bristol was Hamlin. Here's the thing. I would consider 4 of those 5 drivers really good road course racers, and the 5th one, Denny Hamlin, a good road course racer. I don't think Hamlin's a bad road racer, but the fact of the matter is he only has 1 road course win on his resume. But he does have a bunch of poles that result in like a 16th place finish. That's the problem. But William Byron, early in his career, he was really good at road courses, but his problem was he was stage racing because of his points position, and he could not contend for the win. Last year, dominated Watkins Glen. A couple years ago, dominated the Roval, but a late race caution kind of screwed him there. So Byron, I think he could very well be a contender this week. Almost won this race last year. Kyle Larson, always good at the road courses as of recently. I don't think he won on a road course last year, but he's won a couple of Watkins Glen races. He's won the Charlotte Roval. He's won at different types of road courses. He's won at Sonoma. So he'll be a contender there. And Daniel Suarez is a really good road course racer. Remember, one of his 2 wins in his career, Sonoma. And he's also run well at some of these other road courses as well. So looking at the drivers who have won this year so far, and then Christopher Bell, of course, has multiple road course wins in his career at the Daytona road course and the Charlotte Roval. You know, there's a good chance we could see a repeat winner from 2024. But I make my Monday pick. This has become a weekly tradition. We make a Monday pick of who's going to win. Last week I picked Ty Gibbs to win Bristol, and then I changed my pick on Sunday, and I regretted it. But both the guys missed, so I was wrong no matter what. This week, we have a lot of contenders. I'm gonna put maybe 7 or 8 guys who I think are legitimately going to contend for this win. It might even extend to 10. I'll get to your comments here in a second. I want to finish this little talking blurb here. The contenders for the win, who I expect to be legitimate contenders, or I think there's a high chance one of these drivers wins: Chase Elliott, William Byron, Kyle Larson. I'm going to throw Alex Bowman in there. I'll explain that one a little bit more. So all 4 Hendrick cars. I think Christopher Bell is going to be in contention. I think Tyler Reddick is going to be in contention. That's 6. AJ Allmendinger is going to be a legit contender. I'm on the fence about SVG. He's kind of border of that tier 1, going to be contending for the win no matter what, and he could be contending for the win. It's his first Cup race of the season. It's his first race with Colleague. It's at COTA, which is a track he has some experience at, but he talked about a little bit last week or 2 weeks ago how in the simulator he was struggling with track limits, ironically enough. He's so used to enforcing track limits that he has to teach himself to let go, just go wide. So he's on the border. So I'm going to, for now, put him in that second group, which is going to make some people mad, but I could very well see him in that first group. But so, as I said, the 4 Hendrick guys, the Gibbs guys of Truex and Bell, that's 7, Reddick, 8, Cindric. I'm going to put Cindric in that group, honestly. I could see him up there competing for the win. That's 9. I think that's it. I think that's the guys I'm willing to put in that. I think that they could win. And as for Bowman, I think a lot of you, out of the 9 names I just listed, Bowman would be the one that you question the most. I'm going to explain this one. No, when you think of Alex Bowman, you do not think road course racing. Has he been horrific on the road courses? No, he's actually been a solid road course racer. He's got a runner-up at the Roval, runner-up at COTA, and that is part of the reason I'm putting him in this category. For some reason, he's been really good at COTA. I don't know what it is about this racetrack, but Alex Bowman, he's got something figured out at this racetrack, man. He was leading laps last year. It was only like 2 or 3, but he was in the top 5 for a good chunk of the race. If it wasn't for Chastain dumping Allmendinger, which, Allmendinger moved him first, so it was deserved. But if Allmendinger doesn't get bumped and wrecked by Chastain, Bowman probably wins that race. In 2021, he led some laps, and that is why my Monday pick for the Circuit of the Americas is going to be Alex Bowman. His winless streak is over 2 years now, and this has been a good racetrack for him. He's got a runner up here. He's led some laps. He's 25-1 in the odds. I'm going with Alex Bowman this week. I'm feeling bold. I got that March Madness bracket staring me in the face telling me to be bold, so I'm being bold with Alex Bowman. Alex Bowman, my pick to win on Monday, and I will stay loyal to it this week. He can qualify 33rd, and I will stay loyal to it this week. I promise. Alex Bowman's my pick to win. Hello, Too Tough Point Saints. Sorry for being behind on comments. I had to go on that little rampage and tell you that this long, drug-out version of me picking Bowman to win. Paint schemes make the sport along with the drivers. Yeah, I think that's a good point. Martin Truex Jr., good road course racer as well. Yeah, that's why I have him in that win category, or contend for the win category. He's got, oh my goodness, 3 Sonoma wins, 2 or 3 Watkins Glen wins. Should have had a Roval win in 2018, but Jimmy Johnson kind of messed that up. So yeah, Truex is in that contend for the win category. I think Ty Gibbs could be a championship contender. Even though he hasn't won yet, he's been the fastest out of the 4 Gibbs guys. Yeah, I mean, as we've talked about, Ty Gibbs has been really good this year. Like, not just backing into top 10s or, kind of late race chaos, like top 5 speed at Vegas, top 5 speed at Phoenix, winning speed at Bristol. It's only a matter of time before he wins. He's in that second tier with SVG in terms of this week at COTA, but if he won, I wouldn't be completely shocked. But yeah, I'm probably going to do a COTA preview this week because it's a track that's close to me. It's a track I really like, and it's in Texas. So, I figured I always give the Texas races more love because that's where I'm from. But yes, I will be giving a COTA preview on Friday, and I will be making an announcement at the beginning of that video. So you got that to look forward to, 13 people watching this. Which driver will finish higher between Kamui, Shane Hamburger, AJ Dinger, and Kaz Grala? I'm going with Kamui. You're going with Kamui. It's not like a out of control bold, but when you've got AJ Allmendinger, who is a Cup Series winner, he won at a road course last year with Colleague. When you've got SVG, a Cup Series road course winner last year, and Kamui and Kaz Grala, that's a random one. I mean, for sure, if we get some late race chaos, but Kamui, my expectation for him is top 20. I know that he had a lot of issues last year at Indianapolis. He got spun out a couple times. He had some issues on the track. Not necessarily just him missing, but, shenanigans. Shenanigans would happen. He'd get dumped by Ricky Stenhouse or something. So my expectation was top 20 there. I'm going to keep it the same if he can finish 17th. If he finishes 17th, that's a good day for him. But Kamui Kobayashi, he's a great driver. Obviously has driven across multiple forms of motorsport, different types of race cars. He's got a lot of talent. But I think a top 20, that's a realistic goal. SVG, I've expressed my concern. It's once again, it's not like I'm saying, oh, he's in a bad car or, oh, he's going to suck at this track. It's the track limits thing that concerns me, because he himself has expressed that concern. But if he can just quickly learn to let go of the wheel and just run off the track and not wreck anyone and not wreck himself, then yeah, I think he can be in that first tier. I picked Chase Elliott win, tie 8 road course wins with Tony Stewart. Yeah, Elliott has not won in a year and a half, and COTA, he was the first ever COTA winner in 2021. He finished top 5 in 2022, and then last year he did not race, which I forgot about up until I watched the race rewind this morning. So once again, there's a reason he's in that first tier category for me. I know he hasn't won a race in the next-gen car on a road course, but ultimately, he's still really good at these road courses. He led a ton of laps at the Roval in 2022. He led a ton of laps at Road America. He ran really good at the Roval last year. He ran really good at Indianapolis last year. Like, the guy is really good at the road courses. He's up front consistently for a reason, even if he doesn't have a win in this next-gen era. Powerade good, man. Let's see here. 8 wins, maybe if we can't pit. Jeff, not sure what you're saying there. Maybe Prosper, Texas' own Chris Buescher, another good road course racer as well. Yeah, for sure. Wearing the hat for him today because I knew we had a Texas race coming up. Austin is nowhere near Prosper. Prosper's closer to Texas Motor Speedway, which is the area I'm from. So I'm closer to Prosper than Austin. Quick geography lesson for you guys who don't know much about Texas. But yeah, Buescher, he's in that second tier just because, yes, he's really good at the road courses. Yes, he is very consistent at the road courses. But the thing is, he's consistently 8th to 10th, you know. And that's no disrespect for him. That's a great result. That's great. You know, road course racing brings out the pure, you know, raw talent of some of these drivers. So Buescher really gets to show his skill set at these races. But the fact of the matter is, he kind of just runs 8th to 10th, which is, once again, it's not bad. I'm saying it, and I feel like I'm making it sound bad, but no, it's really, really good. He was on like a 9-race streak of top 10s at road courses, which is incredible. But the fact of the matter is he isn't quite there in terms of competing for the win with the guys like, you know, Elliott, Reddick, Larson, Byron, those kind of guys. So not quite ready to put him in that top tier of road course consistently contending yet. I feel like Bowman is on the hot seat if Raja performs well, and since Hendricks become a full sponsor of Raja, getting more momentum and getting more confidence, I feel like HMS is scouting him. I'm personally tired of the Bowman. Every year this happens. Bowman has a couple bad races, or someone young does really good, and everyone's like, oh, Bowman's out. He's done. He's out of the 48. Just let the man live. Bowman's doing good this year. He got a runner-up at the 500. He got a top 5 last week. Up until his broken back last year, he was leading the points. Sure, he does. Other than 2021, he hasn't won a lot of races, but he's consistent. He's good. So I think he's fine. I think his seat is fine. Raja's done well this year. You can't deny it. He's won a race, but let's not overreact to 4 trucks races. He's still got a long season to go. He's a young driver with a lot of learning and development to go. Jumping him from a truck to a NASCAR Cup car, a Hendrick Cup car, would be a bit much if you ask me. So let's calm that talk. No disrespect to Raja. Once again, he's had a fantastic year. I really like him. I think he's going to be in Cup one day. But let's not say he's going to replace Bowman right now. I think that's a little far-fetched for the near future. This might be a hot take, but if RCR figured out the road courses, I think Kyle Busch could contend for the win. He's shown speed at COTA, won a stage, and led some laps in 2021. Also with that, Micah, remember he finished runner-up in this race last year. So, yeah, Kyle Busch has always been a good road racer. He's always been good everywhere, though. I mean, he's got so much talent. But, you know, COTA, yeah, as you said, 2021 was up front, finished top 5 in that race. I think you can probably prove me wrong on that. I think he was top 5, but last year finished runner-up. So, as you said, if they can pick up the pace on their road course program, then yeah, there's a good chance that they could for sure be contenders. Oh, come on. Stop it. Not you. The computer's glitching. I wish Jeff Gordon was racing. I would pick him. Jeff, you get it. I would pick Jeff Gordon every week if I could. But unfortunately, I can't. Well, technically, actually, you can pick Jeff Gordon every week because he co-owns the 48 car. So just pick Alex Bowman every week, and there you go. And I picked Alex Bowman this week, so I did pick Jeff Gordon. Maybe I'm biased. I don't know. Now I'm confused. Would have, in terms of talking about Kyle Busch, would have finished top 5 in 2022 if he didn't spin on the last lap and finished second or third last year. 2022 COTA. I don't remember what happened to Kyle Busch. I remember the finish, don't get me wrong, with Chastain, Allmendinger, and Bowman, but I don't know what happened with Kyle Busch. Sorry there. Don't forget Michael McDowell. Ooh, that's a great point. Yeah, we're going to have to put McDowell in that Tier 1 category. So, all right, we're expanding Tier 1. Tier 1 is guys who I expect to be contending for the win this week, and it is a bit of a large group, but you'll see what I mean when I list these names. Chase Elliott, Kyle Larson, William Byron, Alex Bowman, who is my pick to win, Tyler Reddick, Christopher Bell, Martin Truex Jr., Michael McDowell, and Austin Cindric. Those are the guys I expect to contend for the win. Austin Cindric's a great road racer. Michael McDowell, also a great road racer. Oh, and Allmendinger. Don't forget to put Allmendinger in that group. SVG, you're on the border. If you show me something in qualifying, I'll put you in that group. Ricky was bullying international drivers last year, showing how much we Americans don't take a bad word from other people. I remember those memes because Stenhouse, he spun out Kamui. He spun out. Did he spin out Daniel Kvyat? Who, by the way, Kvyat's back this week. I have an announcement on Friday, so I'll tell you then. I was about to spoil it. Some of you can pick up on it. It's not hard to pick up on, but I'm so happy to see Daniel Kvyat back in NASCAR. It makes me so happy. Very happy. But yes, I remember those memes. Stenhouse was wrecking some of the international drivers. Not on purpose, but, the America F Yeah song was being played over it. The national anthem, the machine guns, and the eagle screeching. The internet, such a fun place. If you had to visit any track in the world, what would it be? For me, it would be Fuji Speedway in Japan. Love watching the Super GT over there. Mount Panorama, Bathurst, whatever you call it. Even before this whole SVG buzz, I had heard of that track. I had seen onboard footage of it. I've seen it in a video game. That track is insane. So that's one I would love to see, love to go to in person. The only problem is it's in Australia. But I'd love to see NASCAR go there, which once again is a long shot, which once again is really far away, so it may not happen. But in my dreams, let me dream here. NASCAR goes there. That would be really fun. I've always loved the Interlagos that F1 runs at in Brazil. Always, even when F1 does not have the greatest racing, they always put on a great show there. So that's always been a fun track. Oh, man, other international tracks. Le Mans is an iconic track. It's a super long track, but it's iconic. I'm trying to get one from every continent. We got Australia. We've got South America, North America. Can I pick the Las Vegas Street Circuit? Am I going to get yelled at for that? It's not iconic, I know, but I just think the strip is so cool. So I'm going to say that. I could come up with a better answer, but that's what I'm going for on the quick. I said Europe already with Le Mans. So we got North America, South America. So I have to hit Asia and Africa next. Asia. I'm struggling here. Is Japan Asia? I know it's an island, but do we count it as the continent? It's not the continent. So I guess Japan, does that... Because I love Suzuka. Suzuka is such a cool track. Sepang. We'll go Sepang for Asia. Africa. Gotta admit, do not know a lot of African tracks. Kailami, I guess. There we go. And Antarctica, yeah, I don't know any tracks in Antarctica, so good luck getting a track out of me from there. I got nothing. So there you go. You got one from every continent except for Antarctica because I don't know any tracks there. Does Bowman win before Elliott this season, asks Trent. Trent, you showed up here after I had said it, so this is not your fault. But Alex Bowman's my pick to win this weekend, so yes. Yes, I think Alex Bowman wins at COTA and therefore wins before Chase Elliott in 2024. Broken back is not a help. Jeff, if you're talking about yourself, I hope you're doing good. Broken back does not sound fun. If you're talking about Alex Bowman, then yes, the broken back did not help him last year. I'm behind on comments, so I have no idea when these actually got commented. Don't forget Tyler Reddick. Okay, so yeah, I think we were talking about the winner contentions here. Which driver will become the winningest driver from each manufacturer? For me, Byron Chevy, Ford Blaney, Toyota Hamlin. For 2024, I'm assuming. I'm going to go Larson Chevy. Boring pick, I know. Toyota, I'm going to go Bell. He's my championship pick. So, I mean, should you be shocked there? No, you shouldn't. Ford is an interesting case because Blaney had the share. He had 3 wins last year, and so did Buescher. So Blaney only had a share of that last week. Ford's tough. They're tough. You know, with how bad Logano's been, I'm almost scared to pick him. I'll go with Blaney. It's a little bit of a boring pick, but it's the most realistic. Blaney's been the best out of the Ford group right now. He's leading or he's second in the points right now. He's been consistent. He's been up front. He can contend each and every week. I'll go with Blaney. So I agree with you on Blaney, but I disagree on Byron and Hamlin. And it's not because I think they're bad. It's just, you know, I'm going to go Larson, which is not a bad pick, and I'm going to go Bell, who's my championship pick. So Kurt Busch was in the booth for last year's COTA race. Yeah, I forgot about that. Once again, I don't know why I forgot COTA's race last year. I think it's because I was at March Madness. I think it was the same weekend because I was actually covering a story at March Madness last year, so I couldn't fully pay attention to the race. So I think that was the reason. So I didn't remember. I had to watch the recap this morning, the hour recap. Trent says he'd like to go to Nürburgring in terms of the international track. Ooh, the question is, would you do like the current circuit that they run, like the 3-mile one, or would you want to go crazy and do like the 15-mile one? Because that one, I forget what it's called. It's called the Nürburgring Schaufleiseis. I probably just said a bad word in German, so apologies. I don't know how to pronounce it. I don't remember what it's called. But if you're talking about the 15-mile one, that is a cool track. So I understand that argument there, Trent. I want to see NASCAR handle the Green Hell, I'm assuming you also mean the Nürburgring, but yeah, once again, I think the 15-mile, yeah, 15-mile, it'd be so cool. I think the extreme tire wear could only work at short tracks. High-speed tracks like Indy and Texas is too dangerous. Yeah, Micah, kind of like what I said yesterday, and I kind of re-said today. Tire wear is great everywhere, but there is a limit. And at the short tracks, you can push that limit because you're going slower, because if a tire blows, yeah, you may wreck, or you could wreck, but there's a good chance you can get back to pit road if it happens at the right time. If it happens at Texas, Indianapolis, your day's done. So you can't risk it. You got to make a little bit of a harder tire at those kind of tracks, a little bit of a different compound, and you can't push the limits there. It's just too dangerous. I like when you use Eminem's Guess Who's Back again, Daniel Kvyat. Yeah, I've used that before as an intro, but I was so happy to see Kvyat back. I just wrapped up a video on, I don't even know, Kamui coming back. And as it was in the processing, I load on Twitter and it says, Kvyat's back in NASCAR. I was like, holy crap, let's go, man. I don't care if it's just Xfinity. I want to see him in NASCAR more. I love the guy. He's a great driver. So, I'm so happy to see him back. I'm a fan of his, so I'm looking forward to cheering him on this week. I'm so excited, man. If William Byron wins the Brickyard 400, Daytona 500 the same year, Jamie McMurray. Yeah, Jamie McMurray might have been the last one to do that. McMurray won the 500, and the 400 back in 2010, and it hasn't been done since. Because in 11, it was Bain and Menard. Who would have guessed that duo? 2011, Trevor Bain wins the Daytona 500. Paul Menard wins the Brickyard 400. 2012 was Jimmy Johnson in the 400. The 500 was Kenseth, so not there. 2013, Jimmy won the 500. He got really close in the Brickyard, but Ryan Newman took it there. 2014, Gordon won the Brickyard 400. Dale Jr., the Daytona 500. 2015, Logano, the 500. The 400 was Kyle Busch. 2016, Kyle Busch won the 400. Denny Hamlin, the 500. 2017, Kurt Busch, the 500. Casey Kane, the 400. Casey Kane's last win. 2018, Daytona, Austin Dillon. The Brickyard was won by Keselowski. 2019, Daytona, Hamlin. The 400 was it Harvick? I think it was Harvick in 19. Then Harvick won the 400 again in 2020, and the 500 went to Hamlin. So, yeah, we have not seen a guy win the same since Jamie McMurray. Good call there, David. It's a neat little trivia question there. I would love to see NASCAR race at Twin Ring again. Don't know what that is. You could not win the most races and still win the championship, proven plenty of times. Yes, Micah, I am aware of this stupid championship format. It enrages me every day. It keeps me up till 3 a.m. every single night. Not really. But, I mean, we've seen Kyle Larson, Martin Truex Jr. Is that it in this format? The guys who have been like 100%. Kyle Busch in 20. Did Kyle Busch win the most races in 2019? We've seen it happen before. So it's not an impossible task. It's just a tall task because format's stupid. Who would you love to see in the 50/67 for Airspeed Motorsport? Let's see. I'd love to see at some point Lewis Hamilton. That'd be really cool. But ultimately, he's tied up in F1, and Ferrari will not. Once he's at Ferrari will never let him do anything. Maybe during the summer break this year, now that he's almost done with Mercedes, maybe Mercedes will be a little bit more loose. Let him go do some stuff. So, oh, dang it, Watkins Glen is not in September anymore. Dang it, I forgot about that. Oh, man. Well, that sucks. At some point, Lewis Hamilton. As for other drivers, I'd love to see Pastrana come back. He did great at Daytona. I'd love to see him come back at any type of track. That guy's a wheel man. Other drivers, if a supercars driver wants to come over, those supercars drivers, they know how to drive a cup car. I'd love to see an endurance guy. We got Kamui in it right now, but I'd love to see, like a Jordan Taylor come back to NASCAR. I think that'd be cool. Yeah, I mean, that's a short list. Or a rally driver. If we could get some rally driver, that would be cool. But yeah, for sure, there's quite a long list, I'm sure. It's just I can't think of it. Or maybe even like if we could get Scott Dixon for an oval, IndyCar, great IndyCar driver. If we could get him for Texas or something, that would be so cool. A track he's familiar with. 3 a.m. a song by Eminem. Yeah, I don't know the song. I just know it from the memes from the Guess Who's Back. So I listen to like 80s and 70s rock mainly. So that's not my type of music, but I just know the song from memes. Y'all think Wilkesboro going to be good this time around? The only thing that made it intriguing was that the old surface ate the tires last year, and we have a new surface this year, so I'm pessimistic. But I love to be proven wrong on that kind of thing, so hopefully they do. Kyle Larson to 2020, yeah. The Twin Ring Oval Race track in Japan in the late 90s. Oh, yes. Yes, I didn't know what that track was called, so apologies for that. But yeah, I'd love to see NASCAR do an exhibition somewhere. Japan, Australia, England, you name it. I'd love to see NASCAR go outside of the U.S. Like, I love our tracks here in the U.S. I love Daytona. I love Talladega. I love Martinsville. I love my home track, Texas Motor Speedway, and you can't change my mind on it. But I would love to see NASCAR go to different countries. I'd love to go, as I said, Australia, back to Japan, go to a random country, go to, I don't know, Kazakhstan, go to Mongolia, go to Laos, go to, I don't know, Egypt. Pick a random country. I mean, not actually, but I'd love to see NASCAR go international, even if it was just Canada or Mexico. 12 Hours of Sebring was this past weekend. Yeah, I saw that. Didn't watch it. My bad. But yeah, I heard about it. 7 out of the last 10 champions in this current format didn't win the most races in the years that they won. That is the least surprising stat that I've ever read. As you know, I am a hater of this format. But the three guys who have won the most races, Larson, I know for a fact. Truex, I know for a fact. Kyle Busch, I'm pretty confident, won 6 or 7 races in 2019. If it's not him, I would guess Jimmy Johnson 2016. I know Jimmy Johnson did not do the best that year in terms of consistency, but I know he won 5 or 6 races, and like 4 of them were in the playoffs. Lewis Hamilton drive NASCAR, kind of cool road course. Hey, remember when Ty Dillon got the slick tires at the Roval and he won a stage because everyone else was on the wet tires, and one of the spotters said Ty Dillon looked like Lewis Hamilton? I have that saved somewhere on my phone. It's random, but yeah, it's true. Scott Dixon raced in the 12 Hours of Sebring. Oh, that's cool. No, I do not watch anime. IndyCar has the thermal race this weekend. Isn't that like their preseason exhibition race or something? Truex won the most races in 2019, by the way. Thank you for the correction. So who's that third? Larson, Truex. Who was the third champion to win the most races in the season? Was it Jimmy in 16? My guess is Jimmy in 16, Harvick in 14, or... Aha, it is Jimmy. My instincts were right. Let's go. Good job. Me. Thank you for that, Micah. Thank you. I love these random numbers that I will never use outside of the YouTube thing. Outside of this, those stats will never be useful. I could go up to someone in the street, talk to a friend, and bring it up, and they will forget it 5 minutes later. But here, those numbers matter. A NASCAR Egypt race would go crazy. Yes, it would. Once again, I was just trying to name random countries. One on each continent. The NASCAR International Tour. We do one race per continent. We do the Daytona 500 here. What would really make the British mad? Would it make them more mad to tear up one of their soccer stadiums and then put a NASCAR race in it, or would it make them more mad to go through the streets of London? Ooh. I'm going to go with whichever one makes them more mad, respectfully. Like, if you're British and watching this, I don't actually hate you. It's just, the whole America-Britain thing, is it soccer? Is it football? The clashing of cultures and, the whole 1776 thing, the memes. Look, I don't actually dislike the British people. I'm sure you guys are all lovely, very nice, but for joke purposes, whatever makes you guys the maddest, that's what I'm going to pick. So then we have to go to Asia. Asia, I'm going to say we do something China. I feel like China, it's got a heavy population. We'll go somewhere in China. Australia, we're going to Bathurst. That is not negotiable. And then Africa. Let's go to Madagascar. NASCAR and Madagascar. It rhymes. There we go. And then South America, we're going to Brazil. They've got a rich racing history in Brazil, so we're going to Brazil. Hold on. Oops, I missed a couple. IndyCar needs more races in their schedule. Too many blanks in their schedule. Add more ovals like Chicagoland, Kansas, Vegas. Yeah, I was really disappointed to not see Texas on the schedule this year. I was planning on going to that race, but unfortunately not. Tough scene. I believe it is. Their All-Star I could be wrong, but I believe it is for $1 million. Oh, the IndyCar thing. Yeah, just like NASCAR. NASCAR go British Grand Prix go crazy. Yeah, let's do it. That would really make them mad. Have a NASCAR race the same weekend as the British Grand Prix at the same track. Yeah, that'd be fun. Let's do it. F1 would never approve it though. That's the only problem. Or FIA, whoever. The London one would probably make them madder. Then yeah, we're doing it in the streets of London. We're doing. Oh man, who? Oh, Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch is gonna do burnouts in front of Big Ben, and he's gonna do in his burnout 1776 with an American flag, while the King of England or the Queen of England watches and cries. And I will be there. Maybe Joseph Newgarden, Will Power, Scott McLaughlin. Could use a fifth Penske car. I know Penske runs Chevrolet and IndyCar. I know the irony, right? NASCAR needs to go to Brands Hatch. Oh, yes. That is a great track. I've seen it in video games. It's a cool racetrack with a lot of elevation changes, a lot of unique turns. If we were legit going to England, I think that would be a fun racetrack to go to. That's a cool racetrack. That Madagascar concept got me thinking. When was the last time we had a caution for Animal Crossing? If that race is not sponsored by the movie Madagascar, I will be so mad. If they do not get Ben Stiller, David Schwimmer, was it Jada Pinkett Smith who was the hippo? And sorry, Will Smith. God, he's going to yell at me now. And Chris Rock. If they don't get them all at that race, oh man, I would be so mad. Got to get the Penguins there. Got to get Sacha Baron Cohen to come back as King Julian. Does it shame me to say this? I relived some of my childhood on the plane flight back from Vegas watching Madagascar. Great movie. Really is a great movie. That's probably why it was on the front of my head. Doing burnouts in front of Big Ben while eating McDonald's with a gun in the car, the most American thing ever. Hey, you got to make sure to have a bald eagle on the car and have the American flag sticking out. And remember, you got to do a 1776 with the burnout. And the king or queen or whoever's ruling at the time has to be sobbing in the background. I'm sure you could make an AI picture with that. Someone do that, but make sure it's respectful and all. Let's see, how long oh my, wow, we have been going a long time. I don't know why I thought it was shorter. It felt like 30 minutes. We've gone an hour and 10. Well, that's going to do it for me. Thanks for watching. I'm glad we're making this a weekly tradition. I enjoy it. We come up with some great questions in these comments. I'm glad we get to talk about some of the things I miss in my normal race recap. I'm glad we get to do somewhat of an informal preview of next week's race. And I'll have a real preview for you this week at COTA. Friday, I will have a video. We will talk about past winners at COTA. We will talk about the racetrack. We will talk about who's in the field. And I will make picks for all three series. You already know one of them. I'll share some odds with you, but NASCAR COTA, it's going to be a fun time. I'm looking forward to previewing that for that one. Don't forget, I got an announcement at the beginning of that video, so look forward to that. As for the rest of the week, tomorrow, look forward to it. Yeah, let's go, March Madness. I'll make a bracket group that we can all fail together at. As for the rest of the week, any news that comes up, and then we got races this weekend. We got COTA. We got Australia and F1. We didn't talk about it a lot here. Max Verstappen's my pick to win. If you disagree with me, then you know something. But for real, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. I truly appreciate it. Once again, it's been a crazy month and a half for the channel. So I'm really happy that you guys could tune in, not only for this, but just supporting the channel. It means a lot to me. So thank you very much. I'm appreciative to each and every one of you, and always will be. And I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Look forward to talking about March Madness tomorrow.